All right, guys, we are now live in the Social Marketing Hour. Super excited about today. This is something that I've been thinking about for a long time because, as you guys know, I'm very into the subject of social media marketing and helping you reach audiences and reach millions of people and help a lot of people along the way. But one of the things that I have seen people fail at the most, one of the biggest weaknesses that they are suffering from in the world of social media, which is more than ever right now vital, is the subject of what is my superpower? What is my skill? How do I go into a content creation process? How do I help people? What is my passion? How can I help and get into a routine of content creation? Well, to help you guys with that particular subject, I'm bringing today one of the most important people in my life, somebody that has been that I have had the pleasure and honor to be very close with over several years now, and I have helped him spread the word, spread his message far and wide, which is all that we're trying to do here. This individual doesn't need a lot of introduction. In the social media world, he's an absolute powerhouse, a rock star. I was sharing with him the other day, I don't think he really understood how many people have seen his content. So I like to give him this data sometimes so he can understand the magnitude of the effect that he has created. Over 600 million views on YouTube. Over 300 million views across social media, Facebook and Instagram. We're looking at somebody here that I'm going to bring on stage now in a second, and we're going to talk about this subject that has generated close to 1 billion, with a B, views across his content, which is incredible. Now, it didn't happen overnight, and we're going to talk about that next because a lot of people get frustrated with the subject of how long does it take me to start getting attention or spreading my message or getting people interested in my content? Well, I know this individual started his YouTube channel a very long time ago, at this point more than a decade ago, and he just put his head down and he did it over and over again, and he has been sharing his passion, his message, and he has been helping millions of people across the world. Dr. Eric Berg, it is the YouTube superstar and the subject of the ketogenic diet. He's a social media phenomenon. Like I said, he's at the top of the ketogenic diet mountain content, and he's helped millions of people with his content throughout the last decade or so in the world of health. He's known out there as a knowledge doc, and he's a certified chiropractor, and he's been doing this business and helping people with his message for a very long time now. And we're excited to have him on board today because he's going to help us talk about the subject of content creation, what it takes to drive a message home, the persistence that it takes, what has been the process like, how does he get to a routine that he doesn't even think anymore about creating content. He just does it every single day religiously. All right, so I'm going to bring in Dr. Berg on stage now, and we're going to be splitting the screens, and we're going to talk about the subject of generating content for social media. So in a second, you guys are seeing Dr. Berg now, but I am getting him unmuted. And Dr. Berg, let's see if we can hear you already. Okay, now.
Hello. Hi, Manuel. Can you hear
Dr.
me?
Berg. Great.
Hi, how are you?
Well, thank you very much for finding the time out of your extremely busy day, which I know how they go, to be a part of this talk. So I have a few questions that I want to ask you. I want to go over with you because I know that when I think about how can we help our audience, we have people that just so you know, Dr. Berg, who we're talking to, we have a lot of people on Facebook. We have some people on YouTube. These people that are here, they have a message, and they want to get out to the world, and they want to spread this message. But they struggle in the subject of content creation and setting a routine for themselves. What have you done? What can you tell us, Doc? What has been your process over the last, what is it now, Doc? 12 years? 14 years? How long have you been doing this for?
Well, probably 29, actually. So,
Right, but you started with what? Doing seminars locally, Doc? What was the route like for you?
well, I think it kind of started out of pain and fear. I had a fear of public speaking all through school, all through college, and then I went to, before you graduated, you had to give this speech in front of your peers, and I was mortified. I was this close to dropping out of college. So I was like, okay, so maybe I should drop out. And So I actually, you know what I did to overcome my fear of public speaking? I actually drank some alcohol. That was a big disaster because it went south, and so it was even worse than I thought. So it was terrible. And then I graduated. I went out to practice and just floundering. And then I was in another situation where I was kind of forced to go up on stage and speak. Another bad experience. And so at that point, I'm like, you know what? I got to figure this out. So I found a seminar, how to overcome your fear of public speaking, and I overcame that fear. But then I started to reverse the flow and started doing presentations, starting with a little flip chart in my office in the dark, with a little slideshow where they did before you had even computers, and little classes I would do. And at that time I was serving champagne to get them loosened up so they would laugh at my jokes. And then that graduated into more and more and more, to the point where I did 4,900 seminars in a row.
Wow.
I was doing seminars to governmental agencies on health. So every day I'd go out there, do another seminar, in-house, outhouse, or go into different organizations. And I did presentations to the FBI, Library of Congress, Department of Health, like all these different places in Washington, D.C., in Northern Virginia.
Do we have videos of that, dog? I would love to see that.
Yes, I do. I have videos of that. And
so it goes back 29 years in this process.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
Wow.
I was just doing seminars. So this is way before YouTube. And then, I'm kind of like a truth seeker. I like to find out how things work, the mystery of things. And the body is just like so many different mysteries. So that's one thing. If I can do anything, and it's just basically study and learn about the body and then teach it. That's what I love doing. So it's not really hard for me to do this. So I guess the first lesson for people is to find something that you can do all day long and focus on that, because this is, some people look at like, how do you get up early in the morning and literally do this all day? I mean, because that's what I love doing.
I'm 100% with you. So it's like what I like to tell people is that something that you're talking about it on your breakfast, on your lunch, on your dinner. Your family is tired of hearing it.
My wife is very tired of hearing it in the morning.
Wife is really tired of hearing it. You know, Dr. Berg, like obviously you and my dad are friends. I go way back with my dad sitting down at dinner when I was 8 years old, and this individual could not talk about anything else. The subject was very, very limited, and he couldn't stop questioning what we were eating or talking about the discovery. Or it's kind of like that makes the job that much easier. Like myself, you know me already enough. I don't stop thinking about the subject of attention. So much so that my company is called Attention Grabbing Media. It's an obsession. It's like I like to tell them we like to use the word obsession as a positive word. It's we can't put our attention somewhere else for too long, because that's what we think about all the time. So I would imagine that makes your job of content creation that much easier, because you're so into it. You want to discover something new, right? You're always looking for truth. Like you said, a truth seeker. Yeah.
So I started doing these seminars all over the place. And in that time I was in practice, and I was working one-on-one with a lot of people over many, many years. And just loved it, and come home and just tell my wife, like, you wouldn't believe what happened to this person right here. I did this. And then I started to learn about nutrition and apply different things, different techniques. And I always told my wife, I said, if more people knew about what we do here, they would just be blown away. And then when YouTube came out, I did a couple really kind of, I don't know if you call it old school, but just prehistoric videos with a little flip phone. And it was just terrible, terrible sound. In fact, poor editing, to the point where one time I did a presentation. This is actually before flip phones. I remember doing a slideshow on my wall in my living room, and I sent the wrong file. I uploaded the wrong file to YouTube. And it was the file that I got really frustrated, and I started swearing and everything like that. So that's the one that got uploaded. But I got a lot of views, and people just loved it. They were like, wow, this is great. And then I realized I was mortified to He says, "Oh, I heard Dr. Berg never swears." And
I don't think I've ever heard Dr. Berg swear yet. I haven't seen that
oh
video.
yeah, I haven't shown you that video yet, but so then it kind of I didn't really start doing more videos until years later. I would put one out maybe once every so often, and I didn't, now I had a lot of views, but it was like at that time when YouTube first started, you can get a lot of views very easily. Now it's more difficult. So things just started going. I started putting more videos out and webinars, and again, bad lighting and bad sound, and to the point where at one point I told my wife, I said, I think I'm going to do YouTube videos full time. And she goes, okay, but I don't want to, I can't do both. I can't do, practice, and I can't, she goes, so I want to stop practicing. And well, are you going to sell the practice? I said, no, I'm just going to work on the people I have, not accept any new people for a year, and then I will just do the YouTube. She goes, excuse me, what? I said, well, it's just what I really want to do. I really want to do this. And so I talked her into it. So anyways,
what year was that, Doug? What year was that?
2004? 2004?
2004.
No. It was
no, it has to be a little bit later because I think YouTube.
2009.
Right.
Yeah, 2009.
It makes more sense. So she just basically was probably like, what the heck is going on with my husband, right? Like this massive shift.
I kind of change a lot through my profession. I can't just do one thing over and over. But this is something, the ability to I got myself in a nice position where I can just do what I really love doing all day long and sharing with people. So that's one thing. Like number one is finding something that you can do all day long, which is, like you got to really dig deep and find out. I like to see the medical profession the health profession is very easy. The health field is very easy to do this on because there are so many lies, false information in this area that you can uncover the truth. There's so many unknowns. Like if you take a look at Merck's manual, for example, that's like a medical like kind of a pathology book. You will find that the cause of 80% of these diseases and things are unknown cause. I'm like, oh, let me find out what's causing that, right? So a lot of information is suppressed. So a lot of my videos is about uncovering like what's really causing something. Where are the links to things? And now the other thing that I have an advantage is that I've been in practice so long. These guys that come out that are experts in whatever, and they haven't practiced, they haven't experienced, they have a huge disadvantage because when you start working on people and you apply these things and you find out, oh, this works for a while, then it doesn't work, you really start to expand your viewpoint out of the box to the point where you try things that you would normally never try. So you have to get really creative and research different things and figure stuff out to the point where now when I actually do research for a video, I'm using all that as well. The big problem that content creators have when they do content is they outsource that part of the hat. Big mistake. You don't want to hire someone, outsource to do your content creation, because if you just do search on content, any type of health topic in the area of, on Google, for example, you are going to get the first 5 to 10 pages is going to be pure garbage information. In fact, you can use the information, but more like an opposite day. You're just kind of like whatever they're promoting, do the exact opposite, because
so it's almost like marketers invade these pages and it's full of trash instead of real content.
Yes, and all this, like this, a lot of this happened like last October. There was a shift. Like all of a sudden, you couldn't even find some of my videos, or I was ranking, now it's gone. And then you search any topic, and the first page is all like medical and news, hidden as health. And I'm reading this stuff, I'm like, what the heck? This is all garbage, recycled information. But what they did, to play the game, to get ranking, is they do what's called fact checkers. So you have to have fact checkers. And so all these people are giving me advice. Well, you need to hire medical doctors to be a fact checker. So I'm sorry, I can't do that. I can't. That's just like, no, I'm not going to do that. Hire someone to put their stamp on my content that it's legit. No, I'm not going to do that. So that's kind of the game right now. And so unfortunately, people have a hard time finding good content, finding the truth about health. So one of the things that I do to do my own research, and I do all my own research, I don't outsource that part of it. And so like I'll dig in, like for example, here's an example of a textbook on bile salts in your gallbladder, right? This is an old book.
Put it more in the center, Doc, because we're splitting the screen there. Yeah, we see it.
Okay. Some of these textbooks are, first of all, very expensive. They're very old, but they're filled with gold.
It's real data, facts.
It's real
experiments,
physiology
things that have been proven.
Yeah, like amazing research. I'll show you another one, right? Like here's another compilation of research on cruciferous vegetables and cancer.
Right.
Like, I mean, you can't find this anywhere. So I found it, very expensive, and now it's consolidating all this research. I'm like, it would take me years to put everything together. But then what you do is you study it with medical dictionaries, because it's very difficult to get through it without doing that. And then you get connections and links and missing pieces of the puzzle that people are having a problem with. So it's a combination of doing that type of research, things that I'm very interested in, and then educating people, try to break it down in a simple way, as well as studying what people are saying in comments. I spend a lot of time reviewing comments, finding out what people are really interested in, and answering their questions.
Yeah, so you can service that, which is great. Like there's a tool that I recommend in the content creation process for people that you have your process, and we can talk a little bit more about your process, and you're explaining that. But there's a tool that I've used that I recommended for people. It's called answerthepublic.com.
Yeah.
If you go to that website and you type in a keyword, whatever that is, gardening, health, or whatever that it may be, which is pretty much enormous, you're going to get real questions that people are asking, and it's based on their actual queries on Google, social media, and then you get to see that information, and that's your job. So just to give you guys more of a specific, we have a lot of people here. I know that there's people from all types of different models. We have realtors, we have like accountants, gardeners, we have people that have a toy line, and it's a huge gamut of people that have different businesses and ideas and content. So let's say, for example, Doug, you're a content creation machine. So am I. I haven't been so long. I haven't been doing this as long as you have, but I'm doing, at this point, 400 publications a week. And sometimes people ask me, well, how much content should I do? And my answer is always how big are your goals? How big are your expectations for your message? How many people do you want to reach? And based on that, you got to go in line with that exact thing. So in my case, I have big goals. I want to reach a lot of people. I want to save a lot of businesses, etc. So I'm doing a lot. So you have to find out what works for you. But Doug, I have a question for you. Let's say that we go back 29 years. And instead of being a health expert, the knowledge doc, let's say that you become a organic gardening expert, all right? So looking at that scenario, do you think it would be possible that you can get also into a content generating machine like you have today?
It really depends, because
let's say you have the passion, you develop the passion, and you know organic gardening, and you know the value of it, and you know how to plant, etc. Do you think that could build into?
Yes, but there's different things you can do with it. For example, there's certain people that provide more entertainment on a certain niche. I personally try to fulfill a missing piece. So if you're going to get into, let's say, architecture, and you find that there's not a lot of mysterious holes in the bucket. I mean, it's like there's not a lot of problem people are searching for architecture. Like it's going to be really hard to come up with original content that stands out, that's different. So I always kind of, from my view, what I know is I like try to find out what area are people searching for that they don't understand, or there's falsehoods out there, there's missing pieces of the puzzle that I can provide for them. So if you can find a niche or an area that can you can create on that, and it's interesting to you. I love to share certain secrets with people, or myths that are busted. Some, like, everyone knows, and then bust that myth. I love to do that, and if it's true. But so there's different ways to do it. Like you have
You
some
can
people,
entertain people, right? You can just
you can
entertain them.
entertain, you can actually give people
Inspire,
inspire.
educate.
Like,
Yeah.
let's say you're selling wine or something, and you know all about different wines. I mean, you can do that. But the key is you have to generate attention. So back then, before YouTube, going back in time, if I know what I know now, I would find something that I could generate attention. At that time, I didn't know about attention. So I would have probably did some TV things. I would have done radio or something like that, because that's how you would get attention. But it's a very busy world, so you have to stand out. So with content, it's really about what can you exchange with people as far as content? What can you get their attention and give them back? That's what it's all about. So if you don't have anything of value, why should they watch you? And honestly, a real big, I think it's a mistake that a lot of YouTube gurus do, is they, right at the beginning of the video, it's a big old introduction of them. Like, wait a second. First of all, Google ranks on watch time. That's the big thing. So guess what? As soon as you put that, and we've tested it, that intro about you, that cool introduction, shut off. So I have no introductions. I just get right into the content, get in and get out, because I actually try to like be on the other side there and say, what would people like to know? They want to get in and get out. I hate waiting for this stupid introduction. Like, all right, get to the point. So
That's a hot tip, hot tip, especially because there's a lot of people that are finding Dr. Berg that don't know Dr. Berg yet. So if you just start by telling stories about yourself instead of telling how you handle a particular problem, you miss out on a lot of people that are like, oh, next. And Dr. Berg doesn't get a chance to help them with the content, with the information. Right? So that's a really, really good tip for social media in general. But I think we talked about attention span decreasing over the years. And maybe when I became a marketer myself, because that's what I do, I capture attention for living. That's what my business is about. I think 10 years ago, we had 9-second attention spans. I think they talked about now is 6 seconds. So it has been declining aggressively. So you got to be right off the bat, just give them that value and just provide it to people. So another takeaway that I'll say about what Dr. Berg said for you guys that are here is that he didn't always have the confidence to be who Dr. Berg is. And I think every single one of us that get in front of cameras, we can attest to the same thing. Dr. Berg did training on handling public speaking fear, right? The fear of public speaking. He kept on doing it, right? So that is a very normal process for all of us, right, Doc? You got to get through that stage.
Yeah, you have to just do it over and over and over and over. But I think, don't worry about what you look like on camera. Focus more on getting to the point, communicating your message that are helping some people in a certain way, explaining something versus trying to keep your attention on yourself of what do I look like, blah, blah. It's like, I just like to get in and get out. Like, here, this is what you do. I'm not paying attention of what I look like on camera. I'm not trying to do this, not trying to look good or anything like that. I just want to have good sound, good light. Let me explain this. Okay, I'll see you later. Boom. Keep it simple, not fancy. All these extra graphics is not necessary. So that's one thing, and you just keep doing it over and over. Of course, if someone sticks a camera on you, you're like, oh, this is so hard because am I looking to a person, or you just have to do it over and over to the point where it's no longer an issue. But I want to give another tip. So I'm always, when I'm doing a video, I am like over there. I'm on your side. I have attention on your side as far as making sure that you're understanding what I'm saying and really making sure that there is absolutely no big words, confusions, complexities. So I have attention on making sure that you're getting what I'm saying and digesting it as I'm going. I have
You're
a
always
lot of
thinking about
attention
your
on
audience. Always thinking
always
about.
in their shoes. What would I like? What don't I like? And that's what I came up to, because I watch a lot of it. I'm like addicted to YouTube videos. I'll watch these, and certain things irritate me. Certain things, oh, it was a good video. It got to the point, and it was like 3 minutes, and I got what I needed. Thank you very much. I'll keep going back. So that's really an important
That's a very,
little
very hot
tip.
tip. And I've seen from Dr. Berg a lot, I think more than anybody else, his ability to just break down a subject in very simple to understand terms, because you can understand your subject really well and you are really knowledgeable with it and you've been studying it for years, but people don't. They don't really get it. So you have to be able to break it down. And that's something that I know you use your whiteboard a lot and you explain and you take it. It's almost like you have them in front of you, right, Doc? You almost like feel them there. Is that how you do it?
Yes, like yesterday, I did an interview with a PhD in biochemistry. Okay, I was a little nervous about like, okay, he's just gonna kill us with these big words, but he didn't. He was like, wow. I said, wow, this guy is actually really, really on my level. Like I could really communicate. He's breaking things down, making it simple. He showed little models of chemistry. He showed pictures. I mean, versus some people, and they don't get many views. They might be clinical nutritionists and have the PhD, and they start going into like the cyclopentanyl propanhydrophene and the guy goes asleep. Big word, put people unconscious, click off. No, I actually try to, how am I going to explain this to like a 7-year-old? That's my mentality. How am I going to break it down? So just keep that in mind, because it's all about, if you want to rank on YouTube, it's about watch time. And if you want to put someone unconscious, just go ahead and give them a lot of confusions, like keep it really simple. But you also have something good, some value. So exchanging with people, your content is really the most important thing. Like, don't put out a video. Like, I'll give an example. Like, I'll put like 8 hours in a given day easily to create some content for 1 or 2 videos. And sometimes I'm like, you know what? I'm just not feeling it. I'll get to the studio. I'm like, no, I'm not going to do it on that. It's just too boring. It's just, no. I have to be excited about it. So I'll like
8 hours. It takes you sometimes 8 hours to get through and do 2 videos?
Sometimes it takes me 100 hours for 1 video.
It depends on the subject.
It depends on the subject. Sometimes it's like I can do it pretty quick, but like even for the summit that I'm doing, I was like close to probably over 500 hours just for one presentation. But the data, it will blow people away, because everything that I'm saying, first of all, people never heard of it, and it will just kind of knock their socks off. So, and then when they watch it, they're like, wow, that seems like he just threw it together. I'm like, no. I actually rehearsed that. I put it together. I mean, I've flipped charts and notes for months to come up with this small little presentation. Also, as a side note, I'm creating an animation to help people understand the most important points about what I do, like keto. And it's about, so I hired this very high-end team, and they're freaking expensive, but I really wanted to give people the 3D animation effect of some key things that happen in the body related to hormones and stuff, right? So the entire video is going to be about 6 minutes, which is going to cost me about $25,000 for 6-minute video, but it's going to take us 4 months to create.
Wow.
So we go through every single slide and make sure everything is, first of all, correct health-wise, like it's all the medically correct. make sure that it's communicated perfectly. And then we throw the animation, and then we have other teams that are verifying this. So when you see this thing, and I will release one video at the end of the month, a little piece of it. There's so much that have gone into that, but then people are just going to watch it and get the concept and go, oh my gosh, and the effect of what sugar does on your body.
Wow. Well, just to be clear for everybody, you don't have to produce $25,000 videos, all right? No, not to scare anybody off. You can go down the exact road that Dr. Berg and a lot of us have taken along the way, which is
flip video.
flip videos. Go back to Dr. Berg's flip videos. Maybe not flip, but hey, we all have incredible smartphones today that have incredible cameras. I mean, Doc, a musician that you're familiar with, his name is Chick Corea. He's one of the top Grammy Award. He's number 5 in the history of, if any musician in history, 23 Grammy Awards. He used his phone, iPhone 11, for 35 days in a row, and he set up his camera, and he went super viral, reached millions of people, and all he did was put his iPhone 11 and hit go by himself, no production. They're talking about a 79-year-old man. He put the phone on a tripod, he put himself on the piano, and he talked to people for 35 days in a row during the quarantine, which in the middle of the COVID-19 explosion, and he went viral, explosive, and reached a lot of people, way more than he would reach on any tours. And he was all done with a smartphone, an iPhone 11, not even any microphones, nothing. I mean, one time, Chick looked at me, because I help him spread his message, just like I help you, Dr. Berg. One time he looked at me and he said, Manuel, if Steve Jobs would be alive today, he would be so proud of his device. Wow. Like, I can tell you that seriously, he was trying to replicate the sound quality of the microphone in the iPhone 11 in his professional studio. And it took us a long time to get to that quality and that vibration of the piano. It was something else. So we have these devices that are facilitating our technology and our ability to communicate a lot more that Dr. Berg did not have when he was using flip phones trying to create videos, right, Doc? That should make the process a lot easier for people nowadays.
I actually would recommend starting very low budget, starting on your cell phone. You buy an external mic and a good couple lights. Get someone to help you with the lights. The lighting is key, and then also the sound is key. And then just start doing it. You do not need a studio. You don't need a studio.
Yeah, we've invested on things like this along the way, just way deeper into spreading our message, like whiteboards and cameras and lights and all that thing is way
That's not the most important thing.
Right.
The most important thing is the quality of your content. Everything else is minor. So you have to focus, okay, what can I show people that they're going to go, wow, this was really helpful. And get to the point and get out. Don't do some, long-winded. And yeah.
I got one question, Doug, and then if you don't mind, we'd like to spend like maybe 2 or 3 minutes answering some questions that I have from the public here. Is that okay with you?
Sure.
Okay, good. So one question, which is a very important one, has to do with patience and what does it really take for you to start reaching people? And in your process, Doc, did it happen overnight? As you started doing videos, you did your first video on YouTube when you said to your wife, we're going to go and do videos, I'm going to close my practice. The next day, did you explode and reach millions of people? How was the process of getting attention and having people consume your content and having YouTube reward you and social media reward you with even more attention? Can you tell us a little bit about that process? Because this is one of the weaknesses that people have. They start putting content out, Doc, and 5 days later, oh, I only have like 2 people that saw my content. I got 5 likes. Nobody cares. I'm just going to give up. What do you think about that, Doc?
Okay, so I'm going to tell you what I think about that, but you guys need to be sitting down right now because this is going to. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
I'm sitting down.
Okay, good. I will be honest. The first part of this phase is more difficult because you have no momentum, and so Google's not going to really flow you any love until you get some momentum. So you have to use the resources you have to leverage that, and you have to come up with bright ideas. So you have to use other things to boost your channel, whether you have to even maybe throw some money to get clicks, or use sometimes people get better results on Facebook for a while and then drive traffic, or Instagram, or the Messenger. You're going to have to use a couple of those to drive traffic, unless you start to get lucky and win the lottery with finding some key viral video that you did that just explodes.
Which is literally like winning the Powerball, by the way. It's almost like, oh, you won the 7 billion Powerball.
It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. So one thing, you have to do something to jumpstart. And it's always going to be get some other help. You cannot, I do not think this is true. You can't just start YouTube videos and just do it and grow very fast, because, there's no event, there's no buzz, there's nothing. So I know people that are getting like 3 or 4 views and for months. So that's one thing. You have to do other things, and you're good at that, and you have a lot of videos that people can watch to learn how to do that. But then the other thing is, you have to put enough content, regular content, to feed these people out there, to give them stuff on a regular basis. So you have to commit to at least minimum a few times a week, but I would recommend once a day. I do 2 times a day, but once you do that, all of a sudden these people start to spread and share, and then it kind of goes like this and this and this and this, and all of a sudden, like when I went from 3 times a week to once a day, I was like going up like this. I said, what would happen if I double that? And I did 2 a day, already having some momentum. And it just went crazy high after that. And then I thought, I'm going to keep going. So I went up and did 7 videos a day. Guess what happened? It went down. So I'm like, you know what? That's maybe too much, because if I'm on the other end getting 7 videos from Dr. Berg a day, that's going to really kind of irritate me. So
I mean, you're not going to do anything else in your life but watch Dr. Berg day in, day out.
Yeah,
in the shower, in the car, while you're changing. It's like Dr. Berg nonstop.
Too much.
So there is such a thing as too much, Doc, right? There's too much.
Yeah, there is. Yeah, and for me, it was like anything more than 2 videos a day is too much. Now, maybe two videos a day is too much already. Maybe I could do fine on 1 video a day. I haven't tested it, but I'm nervous of stopping it just because it's working, and I don't want to not give people content. But
and just to be clear with what Dr. Berg is saying, he's talking about the production that he has in place for his YouTube channel. Dr. Berg does 14 videos on YouTube a week right now, but we do over 100 publications a week in general. But all those publications are coming from Dr. Berg's main 14 videos. We just go omnipresent. We take Dr. Berg's content and we put it on Instagram TV. So we do 3 of those a day, and then we put stories on Instagram and put stories on Facebook, and we put it on Facebook on the news feed and the Instagram feed, and we put it all over the place and on Messenger. So we end up doing hundreds a week, but the main content that creates all that, it's just those 14 videos a week. Just to be clear, because I do push. In my case, I have a statistic in my organization, which is number of social media posts a week. I want to do volume. Do I do 400 videos a week? I do not even close. But they take a lot of different clips from all over the place, and then they post them all over social media, and then we create the godlike omnipresence phenomenon on social media, which is, that's what you want to do. You want to be everywhere in as many places as possible, but the content can easily be just 14 videos a week, and then you're going to be doing well enough to be able to get the attention of people. Like what Dr. Berg is doing right now. I can tell you, Doc, you might not know this story, but when I started helping you over 3 years ago, my dad was you were already doing 14 videos a week. My dad was doing 4 videos a week. And I used that to convince my dad to bump it up a bit. And I said, Dad, Dr. Berg is helping a lot of people. He's doing 14 videos a week. You're doing 4. He's doing 10 more videos than you a week. Can we fix this? All right, son, I'm going to bump it up to 7. So he started doing 7, and it's been a big factor for us. As you know, we have grown also in our attention over the years, and we found that mix of 7 being a good enough mix. So it's about you finding something that works. And another takeaway from what Dr. Berg said is consistency. Don't do random content. Even if you have to put your head down and nobody's going to watch you, and you're not going to look at the likes and the comments and the engagement for 6 months, even if you do that, then you do it consistently, right, Doc? Like, just set your routine in place.
Well, I just want to make one point about that. I was doing it inconsistently in the beginning, and people would forget about you. I would build up this kind of, this trend, and all of a sudden, I wouldn't do it, and it went down. So I'd have to start from scratch again. So now what happens is, it's just really weird for me because I don't get a chance to see who's watching my videos on the other side, because every day it's literally like having a huge stadium of, I don't know, 500,000-600,000 people that are engaging with me every single day, but I never see them. So I'm talking, I think they're actually out there, but when I do my annual summit, not this year, the last 2 years, where I get to see people, these people are literally fans, and it's very strange to have them going, like, feel bonded. I don't even know the person, but they're like, wow, I feel like I know you. And I'm like, I don't know you, but it's just, I like meeting them, but it's kind of just a weird flow. So the point is that when you do that consistent videos, you build up rapport with people to the point where you become a fan. Like I went to Whole Foods, this is about a year ago, and I in the elevator, and Slade looks up. She goes, "Are you Dr. Berg?" I'm like, I was actually went to Italy and standing in line at the.
I was going to ask you to tell that story. And
I'm standing in line. It's like thousands of people, hundreds of thousands of people, and I see this girl in front of me. She's just happened to glance. Because I heard my name. She's watching my video, standing in line in front of me. And I tap her on the shoulder. She turns around. I almost gave her a heart attack. But it was really weird there's people all over the world that will watch you. Even in my live show on Friday morning, people from almost every single country is watching. So it's really a rush to have other people in other countries benefit from your content.
Which is amazing, because now a lot of you guys might not know this, but Dr. Berg has reached worldwide audiences. There's millions of people consuming the Dr. Berg content in Russia and Arabia and all over the place now. So we have this incredible international world that we can press buttons and reach all of them. This is something that was not possible when Dr. Berg had his flip phone content, which I'm dying to watch, by the way, Doc. I want to definitely see that. We can probably build a story of the Dr. Berg content routine and process. Okay, great, Doc. So that's really good. One final question, Doug. How long did it take you of creating content until you realized that there was a need and want, and people wanted to consume your content? Because, for a while you're like, am I even good? Do people like my content? Am I really helping anybody out there? In the YouTube social media world, how long did you put content out there until you said, okay, good, people like it, this is good, I got attention, I'm going to keep on doing it because this is what they need and want from me?
I think that started even before YouTube, because in my practice, I would explain something to someone and they would have this sudden realization like, oh my gosh, mind blowing, right? And then, so I knew I could give people certain pieces of content and have them have this realization and figure things out. But here's the thing, you're going to know it right away. As soon as you do a video, you look at the comments, it's instant feedback. It's the most beautiful mechanism, because you don't want to just be out there communicating. You want to just really let the YouTube comments direct you where you need to go. Because if you get all this, like, oh, that was boring, just stop, just drop it right there, switch gears until you get these overwhelming, like, this is amazing, this really helped me, I try this technique. So it's feedback, which is probably one of the most, unless you do surveys or get feedback, you have no idea if what you're doing is helping,
Right. Now, full disclosure to all of you guys that haven't started yet in this route, you might not be able to get that feedback at first. comments, engagement. You might not get that at all if you publish on Facebook, on YouTube, and you don't have attention yet. Nobody will be watching at first. In order for you to get that feedback, you're going to have to open up your wallet. This is the world that we live in today. It's a pay-to-play world. So if you want to be able to reach people, you got to open up your wallet and give these platforms, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, a little bit of money, and you put that out there so people can actually get a chance to find out your content, and then you will start seeing communication, engagement. And so just want to be clear on that, because I don't want you guys to do a Facebook Live. Dr. Berg said that I'm going to get instant feedback, and then nobody joins and nobody comments, and then you give up on it. It is a process. And yes, once you start seeing people engage with you, then you get instant feedback about your comment. But in this world, 2020, that we live in, if you want to start today, you might have to pay to play just to get your content out there. You're not selling anything. You're not marketing products. But just to get attention, you have to invest advertising dollars to get them to see you first before they engage with you. Just that point. Okay, Doc, it's been fantastic. All right, if you don't mind, I have questions here. We can take 2 or 3 minutes and answer them. They're content-related questions. All right, so you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so for example, we have, okay. Shailendra, talk to content directly without wasting time of your audience. You do not need expensive resources. That's not a question. Okay. I found some questions. Let me go back here a second because there's a lot of comments here. Somebody said a comment to you, Nora Bodhi, I have learned better from Dr. Berg and so great to get into the main point. No hard words. And have only one subject covered in a relatively short time. I am suggesting it to everyone in the last 7 years I know about it. Wonderful to have the simple and useful data online available anytime. Greatly appreciate for it. Somebody's saying, there's a lot of testimonials coming in about you, Doc, here. Question for Dr. Berg. This is from Agustina. How do you keep yourself up to date for many of the new things coming out for health? How do you go for the facts and really take out the true data?
Well, in order to evaluate, and that's what you're asking of, how do you evaluate? That has its own technology. You have to know the basics of something. You have to know that's why, luckily I went through that a long time ago and learned about the basic structures of the body. But honestly, I graduated actually dumber than when I went in. So it literally took me, I restudied all the information that I went through in my own time in a relaxed manner, so I wasn't cramming for a test, and really kind of relearned it. And so then when you understand how the body works, then you can compare it to someone else and see where the problem is. So that's a whole technology of evaluation and understanding how to figure out what's true and what's not, and then have the experience to try it out. Because I will say, there's a lot of crap out there that doesn't work, and so and you can't just base that on some study that someone did that they falsified the information because it was funded by a drug company.
Right. Okay, good. So a follow-up to that particular question from another person, Alan. Alan says, hey, Dr. Berg, what do you do to never run out of content ideas?
Well, that is a part of your imagination. You have to have a huge imagination. You have to, I'm very creative in the early morning, right around 4 o'clock in the morning. So that's when I get up and I go to bed early. But at night, my creativity shuts off. I cannot have a good idea at all. So in the morning, I start getting good ideas because I get inspired by I'll start reading this and get a lot of ideas from just textbooks, and also I'll dig up old patents on natural remedies that consolidate all the research right there. And then I'm like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. Why don't more people know this? And I get ideas from that. But it's something that you get also ideas from feedback. People ask questions. If a lot of people ask the same question, like, oh, good, that's your video next week. You have to basically it comes down to your personal imagination and your ability to create from your own ideas. And some people can do it, some people can't, but I would listen to people and find out what they want and need and then deliver that.
Fantastic. There's a question for me. Dee is asking, what was the website that I mentioned? It's called 𝗟𝗘𝗔𝗥𝗡. 𝗟𝗘𝗔𝗥𝗡. It's going to help you get ideas. And we'll take one more question, Doc, and then we'll wrap it up over here. Mark has a good question, and obviously, I'll explain to you why he's asking that question, because we have here a lot of people that are obviously business owners, and the content creation process is what I like to tell them. It is the starting point towards being able to get your products and services out there. It is how you get attention. So for people that they don't have an eternal roadmap in which they can just create content and never get the return from it, so they can actually keep the content machine in place. Like, you closed your practice, you didn't need your practice anymore because you found a way to influence a lot more people on the way. A question that I have from Mark Busserman is, how long did it take putting out content for you to get viable?
That took a long time.
It's a process, right?
It took a long time. So don't quit your day job right away. So you have to cope. I mean, I coped for many years, and where it was really stressful. And then you keep working it, and you fail and you fail and you fail, and then you keep sticking with it. But sooner or later, all of a sudden, it'll become viable. And then you can actually relax a little bit and start to not be stressed about that and just be stressed on the content you have to create.
Exactly. Okay, very good, Dr. Berg. Thank you very much for joining.
Oh, I just want to give one last tip, and then we can close. Okay, so
I'm only ending you because I know you're busy, all right? Otherwise, we could stay here for 5 hours and do a mastermind on content creation.
Well, I'm going right now to do my 4 videos that I have to do every day. So
you do have an outside office that you go and you do your recording, right, Doc?
I have a very little tiny studio that I have a nice little board, and I shoot things on that, and it's right down the street.
Nice.
So I can avoid the traffic.
And you live in such a beautiful area. I've been to your house, and that makes it all easier to just walk outside, right, and just go and record your content.
If they'll let you outside. Okay, so this is the tip. Okay, you ready for this?
Yeah.
Okay. If you guys checked out, check back in right now, because this point is very important. And this is just my opinion. Okay. There's no such thing as a group. There's just a bunch of individuals. So when you're presenting on YouTube and you're thinking about the millions of people watching you, it's an illusion. It's just one person watching you at a time. When you're doing a presentation, communicate to one person, not 3. So what does that mean? It means that when you're talking to the camera, if you talk to a group, okay, everyone, today we're going to talk about this, and we're going to go over here, like, you're going to lose the attention because there's no such thing as a group. It's just the individuals. So instead, when you do a video, just present to one person only, and help one person at a time, and just so happen you'll help everyone at the same time.
I love that. Absolutely love that. By the way, that's a line that Dr. Berg uses a lot on his videos. If you checked out, check back in, right? Because he's doing that over and over again. He's bringing people one at a time to pay attention. I absolutely love that, Doc. Great advice. Dr. Berg, I think it's been very helpful. I'm getting some great feedback from people saying, I have Jocelyn, thank you, Manuel and Dr. Berg, for this great presentation. I got a lot of great feedback from people. So we appreciate that very much. We're going to help a lot of people get their messages out there, because we have an opportunity right now with social media, especially in this COVID-19 world, that we're not going through COVID in 1995, in which we're quarantined and have no way to communicate. We're going through COVID in 2020, where we still have the ability to be social and communicate and spread our messages far and wide, actually farther than ever, with the power of these platforms right now. So we can look at that silver lining. And people like you, Doc, you are an example to us. You're a role model, so we appreciate your time and we value it very, very much. Thank you for being here, Doc.
You're welcome.
All right. See you guys on the next one. And hope that you guys enjoyed it. And Dr. Berg is now off the screen. And if you guys have any questions in regards to this presentation, well, you guys can ask them in the comments here, and we'll try to give you guys some more guidance in the subject of content creation and get you into that routine yourself. So I hope that you guys enjoyed it. Look forward to next week's presentation. We're probably going to be bringing in, I don't have a surprise guest just yet. It might be one of my students that are going to come and tell you stories about social media and what they're doing to succeed, or it might be a guest speaker. Look out, it's coming. It should be announced very, very shortly. All right, guys, I will see you on the next Social Marketing Hour. Stay productive, keep moving forward.